Hi everyone and welcome back to another lick of the week. This week I want to take you through a concept that I use a lot in my own playing. Are you sick of playing the same chords all the time? Well, let me show you a way that you can easily adjust your normal voicings to sound much more interesting. And the idea here is that every note in the scale is a valid chord tone. So we're going to start looking at the key of G major and we're going to play this triad on the D, G and B strings. So it's part of the E shape of the G chord. But we're only going to be playing the D, G, and B strings, which are also the notes, but not in that order. G, B, D. Now, the idea is very simple. We're going to look at one string and we're going to play a different diatonic note in the key of G major. So if you look at the B string, we can lower this note to the previous note in the scale. So that's a D. We can play the C, which would give us this voicing. Beautiful. We can also do the opposite. We can move the note up, which would give us an E. And we're all imagining a G in the bass here, just to get used to the different tensions on top of the chord. And the idea is not to get too bogged down with what the names of these chords are, even though we could do that. It's more about finding a creative way to use the scale and coming up with your own voicings. Make it sound like you, like I always say. Now we've done the change on the B string, but we can do the same thing on the G string. So we can change this B to an A, the previous note in the scale. That would give us this. Now we could call this a G sus2 chord, but again, we're not too concerned about the names. We're more concerned about visualizing these shapes in the key of G major. This is the other one. If you take the B up in the scale, you get the note C, and this is your voicing. So this could be named a G sus4 chord, but don't worry about that for now. It's good to think about it, but don't let it slow you down at this stage. All right, we can do the same thing on the D string, which would give us kind of a major 7 chord. Or we could go up, which would give us this. Some of these voicings are pretty tricky to play, so find what works for you and just take them through the scale. That's what we're going to do now. So find a voicing you like. Let's say we change our normal G triad to this one, which is a very, very common shape that Mark Lethierry uses or Matteo Sasato. Like, these players are always creative with their approaches, so work on this a lot. So now the idea is to take it through the scale of G major. So every single note will move up to the next note in the scale. So this G becomes an A, this A becomes a B, and this D becomes an E. And let's continue this. Again, this is all with a G in the bass. So get your ears used to these voicings because some will work better than others. Some will be very dissonant, like. But once you get used to it, it's kind of beautiful. There's so much tension there, but all we're thinking is G. Now let's do this with a different voicing. This is one of my favorite ones. It's kind of interesting because it has this semitone between the B and the C, the third and the fourth, which is kind of breaking the rules, but Guys like Eric Johnson use this voicing all the time. So let's take it through the scale. Also, don't forget to play this down. I find this so inspiring. These voicings are so beautiful. Now you may have noticed that some of these shapes return when you play this through the scale. For instance, play this voicing. And the exact same fingering happens here. I'm still just thinking G major, right? This was the other one that came back a lot. So that's 4 spots where you can play the same voicing. They're such unique sounds, so I urge you to mess around with this on your own. This is just so inspiring, and it's a pretty simple trick which you can do in different keys, on different strings. Don't forget about the high strings. Let's do one like that. So we're starting there, G triad, changing one note, and then you can start taking it through the scale. Now again, you're not limited to just changing one note, but play around with it. There is so much to discover here, and I urge you to do this yourself. So again, I encourage you to find the voicings that you like. You will see Mark Latier use this one a lot. And naturally, I've stolen that from him. Now you may have noticed that we've only been talking about the G major scale, but you can do this for modes as well. Let's say we are playing G Lydian, then changing the note to the next diatonic note in the key of G Lydian would be, let's say we start here with our G triad. Down would be the same on the G string, but up would be. Now that's very interesting. Definitely creates that Lydian sound. It's also really nice to create some line cliches using this idea where you walk up through the scale while holding down different notes. What else? How else could we use this? We could use different string sets, so practice that. Different keys, practice that. We could do open voicings as well. Let's try some of that. So I'll play the A shape of the G chord here. So our open voicing is 10 on the A string, 12 on the D string, and 12 on the B string. And if we change one note, start with the B string, up and then down. I love that voicing. With the D string, ooh, interesting. And then the G note itself. And again, we're hearing this all over G as the root. So we're just changing the voicing of the G chord. So now you get to do this with all the chords in the key. Have fun with that. Alright, I hope this was somewhat helpful, somewhat inspiring, and somewhat coherent as well. And have fun with this, chop responsibly, leave a like and a comment, subscribe, get the tab over on our website, and see you soon. Damn, I hope I didn't have that booger hanging there the whole time.